What's going on, guys? Danny from Slow Restoration, and I am absolutely loving my 2024 GMC Denali Ultimate. And one of the best things about this truck, not the only thing, but one of the best things about this truck is the interior. Now, I don't know anyone that is actually, no one I have shown this to has not been blown away. Very impressed by the look and quality of the interior. But GMC kind of forced this on themselves just because the price of the truck. So had this been, $60,000-$70,000 truck, you'd be a lot harder to complain about a couple of these things. And I will be the first to admit that this is very nitpicky, I would say. We had to really dig deep to find some stuff. And I'm not going to do the 5 things, 3 things, whatever, 10 things I hate about my GMC interior. None of these things I absolutely hate. Just I think they could be slightly improved on, and they probably will. Jump inside here. We'll back it out so we have more sunlight, and there's the animation. Very, very cool. We'll go ahead and fire it up, foot on the brake. I'm going to go ahead and back this out just so we have some more light in the interior and I can show you a little bit more of what's going on. As soon as we put it in reverse, I absolutely love the camera views. This is probably going to be more of a video about things I love about this, honestly, but there is a couple things that, like I said, could be improved. And again, it's because of the price point. This truck costs it's a premium price, and a couple of the things in here are not necessarily premium. So the first thing we'll go over, again, very nitpicky, but the fan for the cooled seats is actually pretty loud. And maybe that's a side effect of this truck being so quiet and extremely well insulated. I don't know, but you can kind of hear that. Hopefully you can. So I turn that down, that noise goes away. So that's, again, I don't even know what to call that. A slight complaint. That could be a little quieter. I'm sure there's a way of doing that that would make that a little quieter, but again, very nitpicky. The next thing is going to be with the screen. So I have maps up. I'm not centered, so don't worry about trying to find where I live. What I want to show you is I absolutely love the column shifter too, but when we put that into gear, we'll put it into drive. You can see I'll hold this right where my eye view is. So it covers this bottom left corner of the screen. Now, unfortunately, when you have a destination, your arrival time and everything like that is right over in this area. So especially if you're kind of leaning over to the side a little bit, it does cover part of that screen. There is a way around it. Obviously, it's an manual adjustable steering, so you can tilt this whole thing down, which pretty much eliminates it, but then you're in a position that may not be the most comfortable. And if you go up all the way, it actually makes it worse. So I kind of like my steering column right there, so I can see all my gauges. In, out, we can adjust that. That doesn't affect that all that much. It's just a matter of being comfortable. So we'll lock that down, but slight issue there. They could have probably fixed that by moving this screen a little bit further, or possibly making the shifter slightly shorter. You took 1.5 inches off that shifter, it kind of cleared that screen. So if you split the difference and took 3/4 of an inch off the shifter, move that center screen just slightly 3/4 of an inch over, you would kind of clear that. So we'll put it back in park, obviously in park. And if you were just looking this truck in the showroom in park, you would never notice that. A little bit of an issue. Again, with that down, this home button on the screen kind of gets covered. Not a big deal if you know where it is, you just reach it, but there is always the physical home button right there. So that to me is not a big deal. It's more covering part of the screen. So we'll put that in park. And again, beautiful in here. All the materials are really, really nice. Loving everything about this until you go to open this top glove box, and we'll show you here. It just kind of flops open and bounces, and I'm kind of baffled of why they did not do a soft open. Like they could control that with the mechanism, so when you hit that button, it would be nice and slow opening, wouldn't bounce at the top, it would be controlled. But no, that's what you get. So again, very nitpicky. It works perfectly fine, doesn't affect function at all. But for, again, this premium price level, it could be better. And I am learning some of these buttons. I actually kind of got myself into trouble by pushing some of these buttons. Some of these, let me figure out which one it is. So I think it's this one. If you hit that too many times, it turns on all of the exterior lighting, like hookup lighting and stuff. In the mirror, there's actually little LEDs that shine back. So it'll turn them all on. You hit it again, it'll turn just the driver's side on, I believe. Hit it again, it turns just the passenger side on. And you have to hit it a third time to turn it all off. So I got myself in a little trouble because I didn't understand these, I guess, as good as I could have. And that light was staying on, but that's why. I hit it and then I hit it again, which turned driver's side on and lights were staying on. It was my fault, but it's just because I didn't quite understand these buttons. Again, heads up display, absolutely love that. I love all my vehicles with heads up. You can kind of see it there. I didn't go through and customize all that yet. I did a little bit on the gauge cluster here, and when you put it in tow haul mode, which is, by the way, down here, this little button, kind of still wish it was on the shifter. That's what I'm used to with my older trucks. But when you hit that, you can see the little trailer, and then it changes that gauge to trans temp. Now we'll go to the sunroof. This is very nice, and it lets a lot of light in, as you can see, but it is just a sunroof, and it would be kind of nice to have the panoramic. I understand why they don't. It's the old cab design. Not until they do a complete changeover model, they'll probably do a panoramic. But again, for this price point, maybe it would be nice. And with this video, we're just going over interior stuff. So the screen is very, very good, very responsive, does whatever you want it to do. Cooled seats, even though a little noisy at full blast, do work very, very well. You can hear that ramp up. All right, so I got two more things, and I won't bore you with any more of the nitpicky stuff. One of them is actually this camera. I love it. Took a little bit getting used to, and obviously you can turn it off. You turn it on. That's very cool. Ignore my junk on the trailer back there, but that's very, very nice. The only slight issue I have, so this camera, as you're driving, because it is a camera view, it's a live feed essentially. If you have someone behind you or coming up behind you with LED lights, as probably most of you know from watching YouTube videos, a camera refresh rate will affect the way LED lights look. So sometimes when you're watching videos, especially on, I've seen it a lot on Corvettes and stuff like that, the LED lights look like they're blinking on and off kind of rapidly. They're not actually doing that in real life. It's just what the camera picks up as far as the refresh rate. Unfortunately, the refresh rate is also present in this camera. So if you have an LED vehicle with LED lights coming up behind you, it can look in this camera like they're flashing, and that can be slightly alarming sometimes, because it's kind of like, is it, you know, an emergency vehicle? So when you see it and you glance in this mirror and look, it's not doing it. Glance back to that one, because the refresh rate, again, it's blinking, and it can be slightly alarming. I could see how maybe an older person might be kind of alarmed you know, there's a cop or emergency vehicle of some sort coming up behind me. Not really the case, but it can be a little alarming. There's a lot of other vehicles out there with the same type of technology. I would guess it's probably across the board. I don't think it's just a GMC thing. Well, other than that, I absolutely love that camera view. If we put this into normal view and adjust this so we can actually see out the back window, that's kind of what you see, which is very little looking through this crew cab. But when we change that, I like to have this down. Much broader view, and of course it's all changeable here. You change the brightness, all that kind of stuff, the panning, whatever you want to change, you can change it. Before I get into the last nitpicky thing, we do have 1,339 miles. The weather around here has been absolutely horrible. We've had storms and a bunch of rain, so I just haven't been driving the truck. Most of those miles are from the drive back from Illinois, but again, definitely had some seat time, and pretty much know what's going on in here and what I do and don't like. The very last thing about the interior of this truck actually is kind of interior but kind of exterior too. So to show this, we actually have to get out, and I'll shut it. Actually, I think I'm going to leave you inside here. We'll set you up on this little tripod, and when I shut this door, you kind of hear something. So I don't know if you guys can catch that, but every time I open and shut this door, I hear a rattle, and I'm trying to figure out, is it something in the back seat area? You know, is there something loose? Is there still like shipping something on here that I'm missing? But what I've narrowed it down to, what that noise actually is the little flap. So like Camaros, Corvettes, even Mustangs, Challengers, when you open and shut the door, the driver's or passenger door will quickly go down, allow you to shut the door, allows that air to escape, and it'll go back up. On these trucks, it's a full frame door. It does not do that. They actually have little tiny flaps in the back that allow that air to go out of the back of the cab. And if we come around here between the bed, this plastic piece right here is the culprit. So they're inside there's actually I have a truck with a cab off, not a new truck, it's an old truck, but I'll demonstrate exactly how that works. So here's a cab I actually removed, and this is a very similar plastic piece. As you can see, there's little tiny rubber flaps. This one's dirty from years. So this, as you shut the door, these little flaps will bounce up. This has foam in there. That foam will pop up, so that allows the air to blow out of the back of the cab. Same if you have your like air conditioning or something, it allows some of that air to escape and circulate better in the cab. But and I've never really heard it on these older trucks, but for whatever reason on that truck, when you shut that, you can hear these flaps kind of dancing around in there, so it kind of sounds like a rattle. So with that being said, again, everything I mentioned here, and I realize, is very nitpicky. It's, again, not complaining. None of this is a deal breaker for me, but at this price point, they might want to look into addressing a couple of these issues. But let's just pan around here and just look at this beautiful interior. Looks very, very good. If you ever get the chance to sit in one of these trucks, now I'm talking about the Denali Ultimate, because the normal Denali does have a different interior. They're very nice too. So the kind of front area is very, very similar, but the leather in this Denali Ultimate is just next level. It's incredibly soft. It's hard to explain. So if you ever get a chance to sit in one and just kind of touch and feel stuff around in here, definitely do it. I think you will be extremely impressed. We have the suede headliner. Again, I have the sunroof open just for lighting, but all the perforated leather, the badging, the embroidered spots, the real wood, it's absolutely stunning. Definitely recommend the color paint match flares along with the blacked out marker lights. If you need to see how that's done, I do have a video on doing that. Still waiting on my wheels and deciding exactly what to get, but again, in video, I know these don't look all that great. in real life, they're definitely growing on me. They look way better in real life. The only thing I don't like about them is they could definitely be more aggressive. They stick in pretty good. But again, these are absolutely gorgeous, stunning trucks. Again, this one is a 3500. I see a lot of them on YouTube, people making videos with 2500s. Not a drastic difference, but I kind of went over that in the last video also, with the underneath shot. So definitely check that out. And as always, enjoy the animation when you walk up to it. I will say these trucks are so shiny, and I've had that comment made that the paint quality is drastically improved in these new trucks. So more videos to come as I continue to use this thing, get used to it, and make improvements to it. So thanks for stopping by. Have a good day.